Did you tune?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the half size one.
Ah. All right. Let me look at it.
I put that thing on because it was sitting on the
Good. Are you comfortable now?
Yeah.
Pencil.
I
Uh,
put it
There's a
right
pen
there.
here. Can I take it?
There's one right
Yeah.
Where?
there. Right there.
Oh, okay. She got it for me, so okay, fine.
Are you comfortable now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Well, I mean, she's been complaining that it hurt her face and all that stuff, so I put that thing on. I messed with the shoulder rest. It looks to me like she's holding it pretty high, pointing the scroll to the sky. But,
Were you more comfortable with the other chin rest on the other violin? You know, chin rests are removable.
she was, but we switched it with this violin. Joan's gone for a little while, so
No, but you can change the chin rest.
I don't have one.
What
I could go
happened
to
to
it.
what happened to her other violin? You can take the chin rest from her old violin and
Okay.
put it on here. It's very simple.
You mean the one that was in the middle?
Well, whichever. I prefer the one that is here in style. Are you sure? Well, you know what? Let me try something.
Well, anyway, she's the issue was the the metal stuff.
Metal stuff. Then you need to try that plastic thing that a new fiber. They cover all the metal, because some people are very allergic to steel, and it hurts them here, inevitably.
She's just complaining and looking cranky and uncomfortable.
You cannot possibly look cranky, right?
So
Let me see. See what I have?
I tortured
I have
her
a
quite a
super
lot
fancy
for you.
collapsible shoulder rest, which you could not use because you were too little, but now it's actually perfect. Try that. If you like it, it's yours. What do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know? Try to put it in here and don't squish. Just relax. Remove that hand. It looks perfect to me.
It looks perfect. What does it mean when people point the scroll to the sky? What is wrong?
That it means many things. One of the things is that they're pushed down,
Oh,
right? And the other thing, they move the violin too far. Turn a little bit.
that's what I thought. The violin was
See?
too far.
You can even put it a little bit forward. Can I? For a second.
Do you want a Sharpie? You could just draw something on her body. She could match it like a
No,
puzzle
I
piece.
don't know. Although, look at that face. Maybe I can just scratch. I don't have a Sharpie. Don't raise that shoulder, just relax. Yeah, I like that. See? This is actually a perfect approach.
It's so much better instantly. I don't know why. What about your particular little,
Well,
metal?
that shoulder rest is very good. If you have allergy to the metal, then you need to get yourself a plastic version of it. I can't give you a try because my kids are in Canada and Sasha is using one of those. They are not plastic, they are some new carbon something rather, and they are completely allergen free. So I would say maybe 10 of my students using them.
Get
and
that
very
at
successful.
Ifshin?
Yes. I don't remember the name of it, but they would know what I'm talking about. It's that carbon thing that has covers
Yeah.
on the
The
metal.
other chin rest that was in the middle had the plastic cover.
Yeah. She's also maybe uncomfortable because she's used to have the violin this way, and now the chin rest traveled here, and that's what's sticking it out.
And
It
points
will,
here.
right. It will settle down, and she will get used to it.
Okay.
And that I would just simply need to give the chance. If the metal bothering you, you're welcome to use this thing, although a few of my students use it, I never did. I never needed any kind of, look at that smiling heart. I never needed any specific adapters here. I just put my chin on the wood, and for a long time I played without shoulder rest, but I realized that shoulder rest makes things easier. So, there. See? Your head position is perfect. And your violin position is perfect. And you are incredibly tall considering the width of your... You grew, you know that?
No.
She did. Did we put you on that wall before?
Yeah, like right
We need to try to measure you because I think you added an inch or so. You know, because see what I'm talking about, considering what I have here versus what I have here. These are the borders of your seams right here. Your width is very little. Your length, you're like a needlefish. That makes the shoulder rest, instead of going here where most of people have it, yours going here. On the top of the joint, which makes this feeling of uncomfortable, slippery place. It will go away, you'll get used to it. Because since you are this way, you are elegantly built. You don't have the stability of somebody wide. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you need to deal with. I was saving this specifically for you. A couple of my students were searching for different ones, and I had some little bits and pieces, and I brought some pieces from San Dominica, and I built this. This one is collapsible, so you can
Thank you.
fold
You can
the
have
legs.
hers if you want.
No, you can fold them and put them inside the violin case. This is the only Kunz production that I actually like. It's still not 100% perfect, and it may break and whatever, but at this point it can serve you well. Okay? If you hate it, just give it back to me. I'm sure the other kid will enjoy it. So, this one goes in the center. This one goes slightly off the center towards your face. Not too much, because you are, as we figured, narrow-shouldered, right? And then, yeah, everything, the whole position looks absolutely stunningly perfect. If you are allergic to the metal, then we have to find the carbon for you. Otherwise, try to play it without that thing. Okay? Because it looks as good as it gets. It may give you a feel of something new and unusual and uncomfortable, but trust me, it will go away. Alright? Let me tune your violin so we'll save time. And you memorized everything? Who tied this knot?
It came like that.
Really? How cute. Okay. Now, let's go. Show me what you've done. Let's review. Let's start with the sit-up. And bravo once again for being brave. Don't stick it up. Put it in front of you and relax. Don't push it up. You're used to hold it with your hand. You don't need anymore. That's nice. Can you remove your left hand altogether? Yeah, just remove it. Remove it. Don't be afraid. Yeah. That is what you're supposed to be able to do, and that is absolutely stunningly perfect position. So let's see if you can survive that. Good. Let's have scale. Get to the frog. You're doing great, but get to the frog. There you go. And collapse the pinky when you change. To the frog and pinky collapse. That's right. But don't raise the shoulder and don't drop the wrist because you need to clear the corner. Okay, good. Stop for a second. How far did you go? How fast can you play?
I only did it with the metronome.
No. How many notes per bow? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I went to, I think, 4 in a bow.
Only 4? Oh, a virtuoso like yourself is supposed to play much more. Alright, anyway. You need to get yourself to the frog every time. Every single time. And what happens, there are 2 things, and if you don't understand something, please tell me. But what happens is, first there is a corner of the violin, and it's a bigger violin. And the point of sound is further. See? You used to be here, and now you're there. See? The violin used to be smaller, now the violin is bigger. And your hand is hitting this corner. So you're afraid of that corner, and you stop right here. I need you to come to the frog. It really is a miracle how we can play this string all the way to the frog and not to hit that thing. We do elevate the wrist when we play at the E string at the frog, but only at the E and not at the other strings. We still elevate the string when we come to the frog, but not as much. Do you understand me so far?
Yeah.
The other reason is, remember how you started with this, which I hope now you understand is very wrong, and now you play this, which is very right. But when you play on the E string, you start playing like this again, and this is really, really not good. And when you play here, bow is light, and you are very good about it. And then bow becomes heavy, and you need to be in charge with your pinky. And instead of being in charge this way, you start being in charge that way. So you avoid it because you're trying to be a good girl. And I don't need you to, well, I do need you to be a good girl, but I need you to get to the frog. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
So she's too heavy at the frog or too light?
No, the bow is too heavy at the frog for her. She's not used to it. She's trying naturally to do, she always takes the right route. This is her strength. She does not turn into dead ends. It's like huge power of hers. Unique, I've never seen anything like this. I've seen ridiculously talented kids that were wandering like blind kittens. This one always knows where to go. And this is why she stops right here, because she knows subconsciously that if she goes farther, she's going to mess up.
The bow's
She-
not too long for her, is it?
No. Well, obviously it's too long, but if she switches to the new size violin, her arms will eventually grow.
Right.
Right? Because my full size bow is about 5 inches too short for me. So what am I supposed to cut my arm short? Right? So she is comfortable now playing between here, so right under the balance point, and a few inches from the tip, simply because she can't reach the end. And she's not forcing it, and that's good. Because most of them will try to do some crazy stuff to get to the tip of the bow. Extend your arm, child. There. See? This is the end of your bow. You don't use this part at all, ever, until you grow longer. But then you would probably go to a different size. And eventually, unless you will grow as tall as me, you probably will never be long enough for the full-size bow. Because you're a girl. Do you understand? Although I've seen some girls that are basketball players, but that doesn't matter. So you don't go to the tip, but you must teach yourself to play at the frog. And we're going to do a little modification of the exercise that I gave you at some point. Does she have a middle name?
May.
Oh yes, of course you told me. Yeah,
M-A-E.
I love May. I love May. You know, I had a student May, now we're best friends. Nikki is now staying with me. And she's a psychiatrist now, works with autistic children in some special clinic, still plays violin. So this is what you do. You set yourself, and then you come here all the way, and you do this. Do you know what we call this? We call that a seesaw. Look right there. See? And you do this, and then you go back, and you stop. And you bring it up here, and you do this. And then you come up. I don't necessarily need all that crazy stuff. You already passed that point. When you relax, and you don't have to demonstrate it to the world like this poor kid before you. Right? Now look again. Set right here. Look at my hand right here. See? I bring it all the way here. Nothing like this happens. I don't need that. I only need that for people who are ridiculously tight, or this way, or that way, or that way, to just simply unlock them. Once you relax, you don't need that. So you bring it up all the way, and then you do this. See, the pinky is working, but pinky is not like this. If I see this, I will be very, very upset. Let's see if you can do that. I'm looking for challenges for that one. So far I failed every time, but I think we found one. She's not gonna get it now. Go. Don't stick the violin up, stay there. Yeah. So right there, let me help you once. You take this T. See, like this is the stem of the letter T. This is the top, the cross. And you keep it, you go all the way. No, you don't lose that position. You rock a little bit. You allow the bow, stop. Stop, you're impatient. She's incredibly impatient, right? Yeah. I've never seen a mother who said that their child is patient. Feel how the bow is heavy and it goes right here. You allow it. And then you bring it back. And then you allow it. And then you bring it back. Allow it. And then you bring it back. Yeah, that's your seesaw. See how the pinky is in charge without being stiff or straight. See, we arrived here, mother. And the bow is heavy because hippopotamus is hanging at the tip of it. And we allow it to pull us down. And then we bring it back. See how fingers are all active and flexible and nothing is straight. And then we go back to the middle and back to the same place. rock a few, and goodbye frog, and hello frog, and rock a few. Okay? I need you to give that exercise a name, because I don't have the name for that exercise. Somehow I failed. Eleanor used to go at the seesaw, but she just put that to the frog. I found that it's much better to go from the middle, from that setup. Okay, so find the name and let me know. Maybe I will use it from now on. At this point, it's Ella exercise. Okay? Okay. And every time you play your scale, every time you... I'm arguing with myself right now because that is asking for way too much from the child, even from the child like you. Let me put it this way. And I want you to listen very carefully now. If you think that forcing yourself to go to the frog on scale is going to mess up other things in scale, are you listening to me? Then forget it. Your scale was good, but the fact that you lose the last 3-4 inches of the bow at the frog is a big disability, and it's not only the bowing, it's everything. Position of the violin, new violin, shoulder, new point of sound, new bow, everything works. If you feel like you're failing other things, stop it. Because yes, even for extraordinary person, this is an extraordinary request. But if you can, that would be a gigantic and fast move forward. Understood? So let's try that setup without me touching you. You set yourself in the middle. You don't stick the violin. Yeah, I know now exactly what's the reason. She puts it nice and then she's looking for a chin rest right here. Oh. You need to get used to this. Keep the violin lower and don't stick it up, because as you feel like something is missing, you start sticking it up.
So should I get it or not?
No. Get the plastic one simply because of the allergies, but do not put one in the center. Okay. This is for fat, short-armed people. Okay. Are you fat and short-armed? No. Just wait, mother, until she's 13. Do you know that my main concern for my students from Marin County, for girls, is to make sure that none of them is going crazy and cause themselves fat because they will stop eating. They all bloody aerobic instructors, they all like twigs, and they all think that they're fat. It is such a bloody insanity. In 20 years of my working in Marine, 2 of the girls could not have children because they stopped eating.
I know, if we go out to eat, Gretchen orders a salad.
Who?
My daughter Gretchen. We go to eat somewhere.
No, I mean, salad is good, especially if it's sprinkled with giant amount of chicken and the soup and bread. You eat well, right? Oh. Okay. Oh, I promise not to touch you. So you go in the middle, you bring your bow to the G-string, get away from, Bring it just as it is, all the way to the frog, go. It's not quite all the way to the frog, you stopped like 3 inches from it. All the way to the metal, go. Good. Exactly correct, perfect. And then bring it back to the middle. Good girl, and come back. All the way, see? See where you stopped? See? This is a huge waste of perfect part of the bow to play. Alright, we don't need to waste time. Do you understand what I'm trying to do? So, it seems like it's a very little thing that I ask you, but it is actually huge. Do not force yourself. If you don't get it, it's perfectly fine. If you will get it, I will be very surprised. And I'm actually scared to give you that assignment because it's a lot to process at the same time. Use your mother's help, because you have to make sure that your bow is straight, that your shoulder doesn't go up, that your elbow doesn't go down, that you don't mess up your thumb, mess up your pinky. Well, let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold the violin again. Your heart is losing some of the feathers. Let's go. Oh, you just ruffled them in the wrong way. Okay. Don't stick it up, just relax it. Don't lose your body either. Your body is athletic and let's keep it that way. A string, same thing. We go straight here and stop and allow the bow to fall. The bow is a little bit lighter now, so it's easier to control. And we go back. And now we're going to E. Now be aware. You're playing a bigger violin. It's wider. This corner is much closer to your thumb than it was. So it's dangerous. Now we'll go slowly. Do not stick your shoulder up. That's right. As you go slowly here, you will have to elevate the wrist to clear the corner. Come back here. Still control. And go back down to the middle. Stop. Don't raise the shoulder. That's right. This part, watch for that part for her. She does this. Not just her, everybody does it. This part has to be completely limp. That's right. Don't drop the elbow. There. See, you have to clear the corner because the corner is big now. But without raising shoulder. Drop that shoulder. Right there. Yes. And then you go down. Now once, I want you to do it by yourself. Right here. Don't go all the way to the bridge because you'll be too close to the corner. Go. This way. So the bow is straight. One more time. Bring that C. Perfect. But you're on the A string now. Go down. Shake it a little bit. Remember, relax and control. Relax and control. And then slide down. And you just hit the bridge. Avoid this. Okay, relax a little bit. Do you understand? E string is the hardest one because of that corner. And there's nothing we can do about it. The corners are there. Okay? We have to play around. Alright?
Okay.
Okay. You know that violins didn't have long necks before. They were very short, and the first position was right here. The strings were thick, short, and high, and soft. So those openings were perfect for that setup. Now we have long strings with long necks, and we have to adjust our technology a little bit. Okay. All right. Well, let me see your piece. Are you done with it now?
Which one?
Which one? Let me see what is that.
This is the new piece.
Oh yeah, I gave you that. Oh my goodness. Fine. Show me what you bring me. I keep losing the track of what you bring me for me.
I bought this. I bought the Ferrari thingy.
Uh-huh.
I bought the 4-paged thing.
4-page thing. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
4-page. And then. Yeah.
Well, why don't you start playing one after another? You pick whichever one you like to play, and next time you will play all the pieces and we will put it all in order. Let's go.
Alright.
Make a decision or I will make one for you.
I'm gonna make one.
Okay, Akalai.
Okay. I'll just. I don't know how to do this.
You don't know what?
I just have extra.
Fine, let's go. I think that should not really be your problem in life. Dealing with pages, let's go. Yeah. go. Go. There you go. Yes. Now. And octave. Very good. Go on. You didn't practice further?
No, you only told me to do
Oh,
that.
I'm just asking you whether you did. I asked you
didn't
whether
do
you
it.
hooliganed and went on. Show me what you did.
I did this part,
And then
Good.
later, what?
Show me the other part.
and then I did this part.
Excellent. Let's go.
Eh.
Yeah. Let's go. There. Sharp. Yes. Good. Go. Go. Now C sharp. Yes. Good. Okay, very good. Very good. Your bow hold is much better. I want to tell you it's aesthetic final touches. But see, this is perfect. This is not. I'm exaggerating. This would be perfect. This would be not. Your third finger a little bit straightened and tight, and it happens because your second finger is not deep enough. See? This hold right here supposed to be elegantly the same. When you look at it, it's supposed to actually look like figure skating, right? If something is out of the loop, then it's an adjustment out of perfection. It may still be perfectly fine for playing, but right? It's like, you know, you see the car with 3 normal tires and 1 spare donut. You can drive on it, but it looks ridiculous. Right? So let's hold it. Right. So turn it around so your mama can see. When it's all in balance, you see this. And she's very, very lucky because her pinkies are independent. They are separated in the joint right here. These 2 joints are unbelievably relaxed one from another, which is very unique. It's very Asian. The finger is long and straight, and she can play equally easy here, and suddenly, boom, and she straightens right there, and she reaches into like 3rd position, like a tongue of the chameleon. Here, however, it can create a problem because when it is too long, it slides over, right? So you need to make sure that this is what you see and that this guy doesn't become too straight. And this does not change the position.
You just have to play cello now.
No. She's perfect. Leave her be. There. That is, and this is just a final aesthetic touch. Now look. I was not even going to give you this until January. Now I'm hoping that you will master this piece and sparkle in January. In October, if we do have a recital, you will have a choice of playing either Avery or the Russian piece, or both if you want to.
Okay.
Okay? Which one would you like to play?
I guess the Russian piece.
Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to this one. What does this mean?
Means you have to play. Wait, you mean the forte?
Yeah, that's what I mean. What is forte?
It means loud.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to try to play loud, but the problem is that we have to play lots and lots and lots on the down bow and not so much on the up bow. Right?
Yeah.
Are you strong in math?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Oh my goodness. Okay, tell me, how many beats do you play down bow and how many beats do you play up bow in the first bar?
3 beats for the down bow,
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 beat for the up bow.
What about the second bar?
Down bow has 3 beats, up bow has 1 beat.
Yeah. So if we think first 2 bars, you have to play 6 counts on the down bow and only 2 on the up bow. Do you understand this? So you have to save the bow on the down bow and waste the bow on the up bow, otherwise you will get stuck. Now look at that cat with tomato. On her bag, she has a cat with tomato. Do you like tomatoes?
Not really.
Oh, really?
No.
Tomatoes are so good. Okay. You need to learn to play strong, heavy, and expressive. You attack that note, then you slow down and you go with a very, very steady speed of the bow so you don't lose it. But you also have to vibrate wide, so to support that motion. Let's hear your first note with as much power as you can get from you. No, just first note. Okay, one more time. Okay, and now I will give you an exercise that I don't give to too many people. And the reason I wasn't, because I forgot about it. I was using other exercises that were not as useful. And Chian this year reminded me that when I was 6, I was doing it myself and I forgot. We are very different people, but we come from the same schooling. So we think very much the same. Now look at this. You will do this for me. Did you understand? I want you to take that first note, and I would want you to slowly roll the finger all the way down to the next note and then strike up. Try. Very good. Look where your bow is, you silly girl. Don't lose the bow. It's a big violin now, right? Okay, let's go. Good job. Right. And you have to do this not by slicing the finger, but by bending the finger. Do you understand? And then you will do the same with the second. And the third. And then you do your beautiful pinky.
Can you show me
Of
wrong?
course.
Can you show me wrong and right?
Oh, there's so many wrongs that I don't know which one to even show, but you start perfectly straight, right? In tune and straight, nail looking at you, and then you slowly. But I will show you one definite wrong. This should stay right here, see? Your arm should stay straight. This is very wrong.
Okay.
Because when they bulge the wrist, it's a straight route to
Okay,
the
so show me
tendonitis.
right again.
Yeah. You go slowly down and then you strike.
So it's a pad issue.
Down and strike.
Got it.
Down and strike.
Okay.
That energy up supposed to be fast and attacking, but it should never cross the pitch, otherwise it will be out of tune. So imagine that you have a rubber band and you take it and you slowly pull it and let go and it snaps. But this part doesn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's critical. Understood?
Yeah.
Alright. Your rhythm is good, your intonation is good. And your bowing is good. It's sometimes a little bit tiny little bit crooked because you're on a new violin. Keep an eye on this. A little bit this way. Understandably, because your point of sound changed. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Are you sure?
A little bit.
A little bit understanding is like a little bit pregnant. It doesn't work this way. See? This is where you used to be. Now the violin became bigger, so it's right here. You cannot play like this. You have to bring your arm forward. Do you understand? This. Small violin, big violin. Small violin, big violin. If you do just bring the violin there, the bow is going to be crooked. You see what I mean? You have to adjust this for playing a bigger violin. See? So the bow is straight. It's not a huge difference, it's only this much. But it's already creating a problem of the bow not being straight. Otherwise, I don't see any issues with this violin and you're playing perfectly in tune. Okay? Now, you said you wanted to play Russian piece. Show me. Don't stick the violin up.
будете станцевать.
Спасибо. Good sign.
Who was that?
My mother.
Oh, did she bring us a kitten?
My father was. You want a cat?
No, no, no.
You.
We want
a
to
cat.
see the kittens, though. She liked it.
Мам, котенка покажешь ей?
Они все спят где-то сейчас в кустах где-то.
They're gone somewhere, but she will look.
Okay.
Okay. Both of my parents are musicians. My father was for 43 years the concertmaster in opera and ballet, major opera theater. And he's a grumpy guy who never likes what I do unless it's really spectacular.
Mm.
And it happens only a few times a year when my mother opens the door and comes in to see who the heck is playing. So it's always a good sign.
What does she play?
She was a pianist and she was a theory professor.
Mm.
She created one of the famous European systems of how to teach the ear training and rhythm and stuff. You know, now she's just retired and grows tomatoes. That's why I asked. Anyway, you really don't need to practice this anymore. Yeah, I know you like the piece, so keep it in your fingers. Focus on the new one. I do not know if you will actually get the chance to play Akalai, probably, because it's a very exciting piece. But my guess, based on what I had seen from you, I have a recital in October where a very nice student of mine is trying to learn and play Akalai, and it would be really not fair to him to put you, even if you learn, and it's like 8 or 9 pages long. So to force you to learn this in 5 weeks or so.
Один только выскочил, такой рыжий.
Ну, посмотреть можно?
Можно, конечно.
Put the violin down, let's go look at it. Where is it? Где?
А, ну на улице, да. Мама лежала. Я его покормила.
Yeah, you can. She doesn't go back for I think 2 weeks.
Okay, so
Also, you know, if you want her to, she can play something with Ren at Weiss PCO. It's always a chance to do solo there. Good experience.
yeah, I will see Ram next week and we'll talk. And I will see, because this any of these 3 pieces could be good. Akalai is a little long.
And it's not for a while, so to keep it in the repertoire that long will be hard. I think the concert's early December, That's a long-
Yeah, Akalai, I think she will play in January.
maybe.
Unless she will learn it earlier and move on to something else, right? Because I was just talking to Wendy, that's the lady who was here before you. She's a very fine oral surgeon and an incredibly intelligent woman. And she has a very sweet kid who keeps messing things up because he was always turning in the wrong direction. This one has many talents, but one power that she has that I had never seen is that she never turns in the wrong direction. She has a natural instinct of the right way to go. And obviously extraordinary mind. I was actually, when she was playing, I wanted to ask you what percentage of this playing is her and what percentage is you? Because I would never believe that a little kid could learn so much so fast. It's just virtually
Well,
impossible.
you know, I'm very good with kids, you know. I mean, I'm a child psychologist. I have a lot of experience. I'm older. But one of the things I really try to do with Ella is we do a lot. I mean, it's very hard for her, but she's very self-critical and perfectionistic, and I try really hard. I have a balance beam in the living room. I try hard to get her to think about the music and listen to it and move her body, you know, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Because I'm
the
not.
perfectionism is actually very distracting to a musician. But integrity is important, and she has integrity. I know she has fire inside her, and she plays
does.
always 97%. She never crosses 100, which is amazing to me because that's a maturity. Because most of the kids, when they have fire, they burn over. She doesn't. She doesn't sacrifice the intonation, she doesn't sacrifice the rhythm, she doesn't sacrifice the quality of tone. As I said, the only complaint about this song was that Bo sometimes went a few degrees this way, which is totally understandable, it's a new violin. But look,
I think
the
that Ella
intonation was
takes a
crisp.
few risks musically also, which is nice too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever-
but you know,
whatever-
I don't. I practice with her a little bit, but I mean, you know, I take forever to do anything. You know, I'm one of those believers like, you know, you spend 20 minutes on one or two measures.
Well, maybe that's why it gets there so fast, right?
Because I don't let kid. But as soon as I turn my back, you know, she's like a kid. She goes to the end as far as she can.
So you're still a kid, right? Not some kind of alien?
But you know, if I have time to do that, which I usually don't. But she did some stuff with Sean this summer too.
Sean is good. Sean is crazy, but Sean has a good heart.
Sounds great.
And he's a great violinist, no questions. But